My definition of a leash would be something that goes around your neck.
It's how I take my dog for a walk.
Dogs, because I always walk my dogs on a leash.
A device used to hold mainly dogs, or on occasion ferrets. My mom turns to me and she's like, yeah, we put you guys on leashes, it was so nice. And I was like, what? Yeah, I was kind of pissed off and I was like, but that's so bad. And they're like, oh, well, if you're a parent, you'd understand. I was like, maybe, but still,
I don't think I was really prepared for how nerve-wracking it is to have a small child, which is absolutely why we resorted to having some kind of a physical restraint to him for a period of time.
I think you don't have to communicate what's safe when you put a leash on somebody, plus you're not teaching them restraint. You're not teaching them to think for themselves.
He's at an age where he would easily run away and wouldn't know of what dangers, especially for walking on a sidewalk.
Do you have rules like that too, Ava? What are your rules if you're crossing the street?
My rules are hold the person's hand.
It really depends on the personality and the way that child, or how you have raised your child to begin with.
I don't think I would use them in a crowd. I would much rather her listen to me.
Okay, so a definition of leash is when you use some form of, some object, whether it be a cell phone or anything, to keep someone going where you want them to go.
Cell phone. Cell phone.
Cell phone. Cell phone.
Cell phone.
Cell phone.
I think you kind of have to have a cell phone.
Cell phone.
Cell phone.
Cell phone.
Cell phone.
Cell phone.
Cell phone. Cell phones. No, I don't consider cell phones a leash. I consider cell phones an enabler.
Cell phone. Cell phone.
Cell phone.
Cell phone.
Cell phone.
Cell phone.
I think cell phones are more about how they are used. I think they are good tools for kids to have, but just like anything else, they can be abused and turned into overprotective things, but they can also be positive ways of communication between parents and children.
If what we're talking about is letting your kids go and do things, you're more willing to let them go do things you might not be willing to because you know you can get hold of them.
I saw a commercial where they have those dots, the dot where you can actually see exactly where they're at.
I do want a cell phone, but not necessarily for that reason. Just I want one just so I can have a cell phone to call people in case someone's chasing after me like a serial killer, or else I crash my car and I'm left in the middle of nowhere. I can be like, come help me.
We should all grow up to just make our own mistakes and we'll figure it out on our own. And if you just can't really pick up on that as a kid and not seeing you're making mistakes, then you'll probably end up in a correctional facility of some type.
I'm sure that as my children get older, there may be times where I feel like I need to let them go and kind of live their lives and explore, but I also want to be able to check in with them.
My opinion is, if the boundaries work, then by the time you're a teen, you're starting to pull away from your parents in a healthy way.
Cases where we have a lot of technology nowadays with using GPS to track, as you were saying, whether to put on brakes too hard or driving too fast or what have you, I actually think that lets your child know that you trust them less, and in effect kind of makes them possibly behave worse than they would.
If you make the world almost too safe for a child, I think it can kind of hold them back a little bit.
If I could do anything to protect my kids, I would lock them in a small box and leave them there. But then they'd never learn how to protect themselves.
How many road have you traveled barefooted on gravel? How many road have you traveled barefooted on gravel? My fair weathered friend, my fair weathered friend. Have you forgotten the meaning of simplicity? think your happiness belonged to me. That's not simplicity. Don't act so complicated to me. That's not simplicity. How many road have you traveled barefooted on gravel? My fair weather friend, my fair weather friend. Your priorities don't belong to me. Your happiness does not belong to me. Lack of priority. Don't tell me you don't know what I'm talking about. Don't tell